I was 16 at the time, and me and my friends, I'll call Evan and Jake, wanted to rent a hotel for the night, since it was spring break. We got to the hotel and checked in. It had a really funky smell, but we still stayed there anyway. Once we got to our room, it was about 3 p.m., so we decided to go swimming. The pool entrance was downstairs, the part from the hotel. When we got there was a man, at least 6'3", all in black, with a hood covering his face, facing us. I panicked a little, but not out loud. We got to the pool and swam for a few hours, until we saw the same man again, all black, sitting on a chair by the pool. I cleared my throat. Can I help you, sir? I asked. No response. I still eased, a little paranoid. I put my face in the water, and at the bottom of the pool was another figure in all black. I screamed like a little girl, and I ran for the door. I looked back and saw nothing, not the guy in the chair, or the guy at the bottom of the pool. My friends thought I was just seeing things, but I saw what I saw. I didn't feel like swimming anymore, so I decided to go get dinner in a nearby restaurant. I got a table for me and my friends, when once again, I saw the same man in all black at the other side of the dining room, staring at me. I have had enough. I started to make my way towards him, but as soon as he saw me, he took off. After we ate, I decided we should probably go home tomorrow. My friends didn't really like that idea. Once it was 10:30, me and my friends dozed off in the hotel room. I woke up to some noises. I saw a shadow of a figure at the end of my bed. I calmed myself down and told myself that it was that I put there before I went to bed. Then I went back to sleep. I woke up again about 30 minutes later to some more noises. I was getting thirsty, so I reached under my bed and tried to grab my water bottle. But I grabbed something, and I was shocked from what I grabbed. It was my hat. I was never more scared in my life. I couldn't help but scream at the top of my lungs. I heard a voice next to my ear say, "You're a bitch." I jumped out of my bed and realized it was two men in black. I tried to fight them, but it was no use. Once they grabbed me and dragged me out of my room. I tried to scream, but one of the guys was covering my mouth, and I passed out. I woke up on a stretcher. It turned out those guys knifed me while I was passed out, but luckily someone saw them and called the authorities. The doctor told me though that they couldn't find the guys. To this day, I always have a nightlight in my room, and somehow that makes me feel a little bit more safe. So, this happened 3 months ago. I was hiking with my friend. Let's call her Amy. Me and Amy set off on our travels about 6 a.m. We traveled by public transport, and we got the 6:35 bus to our destination. The bus stop was empty for the first 10 minutes or so. Then a man joined. He was looking at the same timetable as us, so we knew he was getting on the same bus. He sat on the bench opposite of us and started reading the book. I felt strange, as if I knew something was up. I glanced at the man, and he caught my glare, and just stared at me. It wasn't a normal stare, it was a sinister stare. I pulled out my phone and texted Amy to check it out. I didn't want to speak out loud, so he knew I was talking about him. As soon as Amy's phone dinged, the man looks at us. He turns to Amy and asks, "Who's texting you?" He said it in a way as if he already knew. She nervously replies, "Oh, it's my dad, just seeing if I'm okay." He squints his eyes and continues reading. He started mumbling stuff to himself in a different language. I think it was Polish, but I'm not 100% sure. The bus was due 5 minutes by this time, so me and Amy got our stuff together to get on. We stand up and step towards the road where the bus pulls up. The man also stands up and stands a foot away from me. I could feel his breath on my neck. I felt so uncomfortable. When the bus finally came, we boarded it and sat at the back. The man sat at the very front on the seat facing backwards. He put his book away and stared at me. He stared at me even when I saw him. His glance didn't leave me. Our stop was the next one, so we walked to the driver's section of the bus and waited. The bus pulled up and we left. The man stayed on. We thought we wouldn't see him again, but we were so wrong. So later that evening, we stopped on our hike for some lunch. We sat on a large rock on top of a hill, with the forest surrounding us. We were gossiping and laughing till Amy noticed someone was walking up on the path towards us. "Look," she says, "isn't that the man from the bus?" I turned around and my heart sank. "He is," I replied. "Why is he here? He stayed on the bus while we got off. How did he know that we would be here?" Amy gave me a scared, confused look and shrugged nervously. We decided to pack our stuff and head back to the bus station to go home. We got on the bus. The man was nowhere in sight. The last time we saw him was on the hiking trail, about 3 miles from here. He walked past us in the opposite direction. So we go for a few stops. When the bus stops and someone gets on, thinking nothing of it, we continue our conversation. When a hand touches my shoulder, I say, "Hey," and I turn around to see the same guy sitting there, touching my freaking shoulder. What the frick, I thought to myself. How could he have gotten this far in this short amount of time? He was miles behind us. It's impossible. "Yes, can I help you?" I kindly replied. "No, I just wanted to feel you." Immediately creeped out, I stepped up and complained to the driver about what he had just said. The driver stopped the bus and asked the man to leave. The man gets off, staring at me viciously as he passes me. I sat back down and didn't say a single word the whole bus ride back. We got off the bus and Amy asked me if I was okay, and that I was looking pale. That was strange, wasn't it? I asked Amy for reassurance that I wasn't exaggerating. "Hell yeah, it was," she instantly responded. We walked to Amy's house and sat in her room for an hour or two. We watched a movie and chatted. Time was getting on and I had to leave, so her and her family could have dinner. I walked a short distance home and locked my door behind me. I never usually lock my door, but I was very creeped out. I made some dinner and watched some TV, and then I got into the bath. I was in there for ages, until I started to get a familiar earlier feeling. I went to my room and got dressed, and then went downstairs and turned off the TV, and then locked every single window and door, and then came back upstairs. I'm lying in bed and I keep thinking I can hear someone outside my house, but I brush it off as a stray dog or other animal. I eventually fell asleep and woke up suddenly during the night. I checked my alarm and it was 3:20 a.m. I don't usually wake up during this time at night, so I find this to be a little odd. I sat up and turned on my lamp. Then I heard loud footsteps pacing around my house. I got out of bed and checked through my bedroom window. I couldn't see anything, so I went downstairs. Keeping the downstairs light off, I peeked through the blinds to the front of the house. I saw a person staring out my bedroom window. I couldn't make out the face. I continued watching that person pacing up and down my driveway. Who could this be? I thought to myself. I had so many thoughts like, is this person drunk? Is this an escape from an asylum up the road? I continued watching for a good 15 minutes or so, until they turned around and walked out, and stopped at my gate, and turned around and looked straight at me. Well, at least it looked like they did. The street light was shining in their face, and I recognized the person. It was the same person from the bus. What the frick, I thought to myself. How does he know where I live? The man left my driveway and walked off. I go back to bed and text him what happened in the morning. Oh my freaking gosh, he replied back to me. Anyways, we planned to meet at a cafe for lunch. Once we were there and sat down in our chairs, we noticed the same guy on the opposite side of the road pacing up and down, staring directly at me. For the rest of that day, most places I go, I'd see him. I got very uncomfortable, so I went to my local police station afterwards. They said they logged it down, but they couldn't really do anything. I left the police station feeling pretty crappy because I couldn't do anything. And over the next few days it got worse and worse. I would hear him banging on my door at night saying that he loves me and to let him in. But one night, the neighbors must have called the police because of the disturbance. Because I saw blue lights and he got arrested. I went down to the officer and told him that I already reported him. I hoped that they could actually do something now, but he said the best they could do is only give him a warning. Over the next 1 to 2 weeks he was pretty calm, until I started to get a phone call from an unknown number. I answered a few times, but it was only heavy breathing. I started declining them, and I was getting like 50 to 100 calls in 20 minutes. I eventually changed my phone number. It's been 8 weeks now, and I haven't seen the man, but I have heard some weird noises outside my house late at night. Nothing has happened yet, so far.